The Flipside Story of Al James, laid-back rebel, silent revolutionary. In a music scene filled with rapid-fire bars, aggressive flexes, and over-the-top personas, there's one name that moves in silence, but hits just as hard. Al James. You won't find him in every trending topic. You won't hear him shouting for attention. But when his voice drops on a beat, time slows. Heads turn. And for a moment, noise makes room for nuance. This is the story of a rapper who didn't climb the game with chaos, but with cool. And that makes his rise all the more revolutionary. No hype, just heat. Al James wasn't manufactured by the system. He didn't storm a scene with controversy. He entered the game like a shadow, calm, calculated, mysterious. And yet, everyone noticed. His breakout track, Nyong Gabi, felt different the moment it hit. It wasn't just the hypnotic beat or the chill delivery. It was the vibe. Smooth, sensual, effortless. Like he wasn't trying to impress you. He was just letting you feel something real. That's his genius. Al James doesn't rap to overpower. He raps to pull you in. And in an era where artists scream to be heard, that quiet confidence is rare. The art of less. Al James proved something most rappers forget. Less is more. His lyrics aren't overstuffed with metaphors. He doesn't spit 100 bars a minute. Instead, he creates space. Space to breathe, to think, to vibe. His music doesn't demand your attention. It earns it. He's mastered the art of subtle storytelling, of painting emotions with minimal brushstrokes. Whether he's talking about late-night drives, fleeting love, or chasing dreams, there's always something underneath the surface. Something personal, something poetic. It's not what he says, it's how he says it. And that's what makes his music echo. The flip side of cool. But don't get it twisted. Just because Al James comes off chill doesn't mean he hasn't faced the fire. Behind that laid-back style is a man who worked hard to find his voice. He came from the independent grind. No major label backing. No overnight fame. Just raw talent, creative vision, and the discipline to stay true to himself. That's the flip side most people miss. Al James made it cool to not conform. While other rappers chased trends, he chased timelessness. While others flooded the internet with noise, he curated quality. He didn't bend his sound to fit the mainstream. He made the mainstream lean into his sound. That takes guts. That takes patience. And that takes belief in your craft when the world doesn't quite understand it yet. Buhay at bars. What makes Al James stand out isn't just his sound, it's his lifestyle. He lives what he raps. He talks about city nights, passion, self-reflection, not through a lens of fantasy, but through lived experience. His music is grounded, real, intimate, the kind you play when you're driving alone at midnight or staring at the ceiling, trying to make sense of life. There's depth in his simplicity, because he's not trying to be a rap god, he's just trying to connect. And that realness, it travels, it resonates, it sticks. Impact without the noise. Al James has inspired a wave of artists who realize they don't have to scream to be heard, that you can be mellow and still magnetic. That introspection is just as powerful as aggression. He's also proven that you can build a strong fan base without gimmicks. He rarely overpromotes. He doesn't flood the scene with content. He drops when he's ready. And every time he does, the culture pauses. That's power. Because when your music holds weight, you don't need hype. The silent leader. What people rarely talk about is how Al James has subtly shifted the landscape of Filipino rap. He brought lo-fi, chill trap, and melodic storytelling into the mainstream. He gave space for introspective rappers to thrive. He broke the stereotype that you had to be loud, flashy, or aggressive to make an impact. And he did it all without selling out. He stayed true to his art, built his brand, protected his peace, and still climbed the charts. That's the kind of leadership you don't always see, but you feel it. A creative mind. Al James isn't just a rapper. He's a visual thinker. From his music videos to his cover art, there's intention in every detail. His aesthetic is cohesive, modern, minimal, just like his bars. He understands that music is more than sound, it's experience. And he curates that experience with care. That's why his listeners don't just like him. They trust him. They know that when Al James drops, it's going to be something crafted, something authentic, something that hits both the heart and the head. What he teaches us. The story of Al James isn't loud, but it's loud in impact. He teaches us that still waters do run deep, that you don't have to follow the crowd to lead one, that staying grounded in your identity is the ultimate flex. He shows that sometimes the most powerful movements happen in silence. Not because they're hiding, but because they're focused. And that kind of quiet rebellion, it lasts longer than any viral trend. Let's talk. So here's my question for you. Did Al James' story change how you see chill artistry? Does it challenge how we define presence, strength, or power in today's world? What part of his quiet revolution hit you the hardest? Because maybe the real strength isn't in being the loudest in the room, but in being the one who doesn't need to be. Let me know your thoughts. Let's turn up the volume on realness, one beat at a time.